question, and it's going to be the last question. Um, what would be the steps for parents expecting a child? How should they go about not giving up their rights? So that's an excellent question because we have kids that are born private in bedrooms without birth certificates all day long. And those children can get a passport as a state citizen without a birth certificate. So, Peter, where the element of issue comes in is when you need to go to a hospital. And that is a hour-long conversation. I have spoken on it several times before. The bottom line is you do not want to sign the hospital paperwork. You do not want to sign a birth certificate, a live born record. And you do not want to give them a name. Now, if the hospital, here's the nuancy stuff that sucks. If the hospital knows your name and your dates of birth, then the hospital is going to report a John Doe or Jane Doe born, weight, amount, time, no name, with you as the parents to the state, quite possibly. That doesn't mean that that child necessarily has a birth certificate, but it has caused issues whereby knowing that we had a kid with no birth certificate born free, where we applied the Secretary of State, Secretary of Department of State, where you get passports, wanted to see a letter of no record from the state. And the state said there was a record because the hospital performed a Jane Doe or John Doe for that particular child. And so that's just where all these different roads need to be talked about and discussed. So if it were me, I would have a kid in the private, and at all costs, I'm not telling you what to do, but your information known at that hospital puts your child into the public, even potentially if you do not sign anything. There are ways to get it removed because you did not give them permission to do that. But that's a fight, that's a legal battle, and then some. And then they're going to use the state statutes and codes to enforce that right for them to be able to record the BC, because that's something that they would need. But we help parents all day long in the private, administer counsel, whatever, to the and all you do is you just go find a midwife who's willing to do this at the home. But again, 50% of the time, complications come up or something happens and you got to go to the hospital. And I get it. But what I would do in my route to the hospital and at the hospital, I cannot say on this recordation. So if somebody wants to have a private conversation about what I would do, I'll be more than happy to have that. And then, even though I said that